Hey, 8th graders, it's Mr. E. I just wanted to, one of the last topics that we have to cover for this year is going to be volume of cylinders, cones, and spheres, so I wanted to give you a quick little video about it. Now, if we remember from 7th grade, we know that the area, and these are specifically dealing with circle shapes, circle-based shapes, so we know that the area of a circle or any two-dimensional figure is the stuff inside, the amount of space inside, basically, okay? And then we know that perimeter / circumference of a two-dimensional figure is the stuff outside or the space outside. So if you want to space outside. So if we're thinking about a yard or a pool, Let's go with the yard. So you want to buy sod for your yard or grass. That's talking about the area because you're going to fill in your yard with grass. But if you want a fence for your yard, that's going to be the perimeter of it. Okay. So we have the area and perimeter. Now with three-dimensional figures, we're talking about volume. So area matches volume, and volume is again the stuff or the space inside. How much capacity can be put inside of whatever shape that you have. A mug, how much coffee can fill your mug. And then surface area is just like the perimeter or the space outside. So if you're thinking about volume, you can think about it as you want to wrap a present for your friend or your sibling or your parents. That's surface area because you're wrapping the outside. But if you want to fill it with foam in order to send it to somebody, that's going to be your volume because that's the stuff inside, okay? So that little refresher. Now we're just going to get into cylinders, okay? So you have a cylinder. It could be any looking cylinder. It doesn't even need to look pretty. Hopefully it looks nice enough that you get the point. Okay, so let's say that we have our radius, which is 5 units, and we have our height, which also looks like 5 units, but we're actually going to say 10 units just to make it easier, even though it's not specifically accurate according to the drawing. All we need to do, okay, so we're talking about circle-based shapes, so we have to figure out this circle first, okay? So for volume, we're going to figure out the area of the circle, which we have right here, pi times r squared. So we're going to do v equals pi times r squared, which is pi times 5 times 5, which is 25. So we've got pi times 25, so 3.14 times 25 equals 78.5. And then we're going to multiply that by our height, which is 10. Okay, so since it's pi times r squared times h, we're now going to multiply by 10. And so that gives us one decimal place to the right. So our volume is 785 units. And that's it. So we take the area of the circle, we just multiply it by the height of that cylinder. Okay? It's really that easy. And the cool thing is that the cone is also super easy. Notice that if we look at this, we have the same shape. We have the same formula in both equations. The only difference is this 1/3. So we are going to do the exact same thing. Say we have a cone, and that cone has the same height, 10 units, and then that cone has the same radius, which is 5 units. So we do exactly the same thing. So this is volume of a cylinder, and this is volume of a cone, and we're going to do pi times r squared times h, which we already did, and we got 785 units. Now all we're going to do, because a cone is 1/3 of a cylinder, just like, remember when we were last year when we did a rectangle, and we said that any triangle is exactly half of a rectangle, which is why we do 1/2 times the base times the height, because the area of a rectangle is base times height, and since any triangle is half that, we just divide it by 2, okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get our answer for the area, or for the volume of a cylinder, and then we're just going to divide it by 3. So 785 divided by 3 is 261.7. And I just rounded up the tens place. That's all. You don't need to worry about anything else. You just figured out the area of a cylinder and the area of a cone without any issues, okay? And the last one's super easy as well. Again, you just need to know your vocabulary, because all you have to do is plug it into an equation. So we have a cylinder, and we know that the radius of that cylinder, let's use 5 again. Okay, so this is a little bit different, but it's still really easy. So we know that volume is 4/3 times pi times r cubed. So this time we're going to cube 5 rather than square it. So we have 5 times 5 times 5 equals 125. We're going to multiply that by pi. This is the way I do it. You can actually do it anyway, because multiplication, you have the commutative property of multiplication, which basically says you can do the multiplication in any which way because it's all the same. So 125 times 3.14 equals 392.5, and then we multiply by 4/3 times 4 divided by 3, and then we get 523.3 repeating units cubed. And these are all units cubed, because we're talking about a 3D shape. So we're going to cube it. And that's it. That's really all there is for cylinders, cones, and spheres. Just use the formula, and it should work out to your benefit. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or leave a comment. Okay? That's it. Have a great day.